Hello, I am going to guide you through my yin yoga masterclass. This is going to be a slightly longer version than the one I've done. So we're going to go ahead and start in Savasana, setting our intention for the practice. So that is the corpse pose, and we're focusing on what you want to bring into your life and what you're needing to let go of to allow that change and shift. We're going to remain in Savasana for a minute while setting your intentions. Then prepare to do 5 deep belly breaths with your hands on your tummy like you're filling a balloon with air or you're 9 months pregnant, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth 5 times. We'll continue to be in Savasana for another minute. Just relaxing into corpse pose. Send your body and your brain, your neurotransmitters, all the right signals that you are relaxed. You are not in a stress state. You are in a Zen state. Slowly rotate your head and neck to your right side. Slowly rotate your head and neck back to neutral. Carefully turning head and neck to look over your left shoulder. And back to neutral. Then we will hug our right knee for several breaths. You may want to engage your foot, flexing your heel, rotating the ankle, pointing your toe. Hugging that knee, paying close attention to the micro movements, and focusing on the compression in your right hip. Then we're going to reach for the strap and get the canvas to go across the ball of your right foot, and then straighten your leg. You can keep the knee slightly bent, or you can straighten it, or both. You can do a little bit of both. Pull the leg just a little bit closer to your chest. And then you're going to swing that right leg out to the right side, with continuing to hold with the strap or without if you like, for a half straddle with that right leg. Set your right leg back down on the mat, switching legs to hug your left knee, hugging your left knee in tight. You can also engage the foot, flex your heel, rotate your ankle, point your toes. As you're continuing to hug that left knee, pay attention to the micro movements again and focus on the compression in your left hip this time. And then picking up that strap and placing the canvas across the ball of your left foot, straightening that leg straight up in the air and holding it there. Again, you can bend the knee slightly if you like, can keep it straightened, or a little bit of both. Yogi's choice. Hold that leg just a little closer to your chest. And then we'll do the half straddle on the left with the left foot out to the left side, again with or without your strap. Coming out of that half straddle, we'll get both legs straight, stretching out long, arms overhead, and then hugging both of your knees. Rocking and rolling. Continuing to hold on to your right knee, lower the left leg down to the mat. And then maybe with a bolster or a pillow or even a block, you want to place the right knee on the left side of your body for the supine twist with your arms in a T, keeping your drishti out over your right fingertips. We're going to stay in supine twist with the drishti over the right fingertips. You have the option to use your left hand to apply a light pressure to your right knee at any point in time. That added pressure can just feel really good. Just really relaxing into your supine twist. If you need to shift around a little, do what your body's telling you to do. Slowly, we're going to turn the head from looking out over the right fingertips to neutral, and then to be looking out over the left fingertips for 2 full breaths. And then slowly we will rotate the head and neck back to be looking out over the right fingertips. Then back to neutral, lowering the right leg to the floor, Hugging in both of your knees together, head and neck towards the knees, rocking and rolling, and then lowering your right leg to the floor while continue hugging your left knee. Bring that left knee across your body to place it on the floor or a bolster or pillow or a block again on the right side of your body. For that supine twist, arms are in a T. Your gaze is looking over your left fingertips. We're holding this pose. Again, at any point, you can use your right hand to apply that light pressure to your left knee. Slowly, we will rotate the head and neck from looking over the left fingertips to all the way looking over the right fingertips. 2 full deep breaths. Then slowly rotating that head and neck all the way back to be looking over your left fingertips again. And then back to neutral. Lower that left leg back down to the floor, coming out of the twist. Hugging both knees, stretching your neck, forehead towards the knees, rotating ankles and engaging your feet, flexing your heels. And then we're going to get into reclined butterfly. You may want a support under your knees, a bolster, or the blocks or pillows. We're going to reach our arms out to the sides and arching them overhead in half moon to the steeple grip. Holding that stretch. And then flapping your butterfly wings down, arms at your sides, palms are facing up. And with the palms facing up, slowly move your arms back up overhead, touching the fingertips and the thumbs to each other. With your arms overhead outstretched, stay in the butterfly pose for a few more breaths. And if you've got a support, a bolster or a pillow or block, you might want to remove it at this point in time. And then we're going to do reclined tree pose on each side. First, bring the sole of your right foot to the inseam of your left leg, continuing with your prayer hands overhead. You can also opt to have your hands in arms in goalpost or cactus or branching out, steeple grip, whatever you'd like. And then we'll simply switch sides, placing the sole of our left foot to the inseam of the right leg. Coming out of this pose, reach for your strap and get the strap on the balls of both feet for legs up the wall. Knees can be straight or bent slightly. You can walk the legs, bending one knee with one straight and then alternating back and forth. Continue with the legs up the wall. And then keeping the left foot in the strap on the ball of that foot, place your right foot across your left thigh for reclined pigeon. Bending that left knee slightly is an option, or keeping it straightened, or a little bit of both. Really feel that stretch. Then switch out your feet, getting your right foot back into the strap and your left foot across your right thigh for the other side. Again, option to bend the knee, straighten it out, or a little bit of both. And then coming out of the reclined pigeon, we will lay flat for 3 bumblebee breaths, setting your strap to the side, fingers on the eyes, your pointer finger, middle finger, and ring finger, thumbs on your ear cartilage, pressing your tragus down, closing off the airway into your ears. Breathing in and out through the nose, we will hum low pitch 3 times as we breathe out. Turn yourself over slowly, flipping yourself to the left or to the right to lay on your front side. Rest your head, your forehead on your hands, laying on top of each other. Then coming up onto your elbows and forearms into Sphinx. You'll hike up your right knee with your right arm out in front of you, and with your left arm, thread the needle. Make any adjustments for the pose that you need as you get into the supine twist once again. You can get your right hand onto your right hip. You can straighten out that right arm, trying to lay it flat to the ground with both shoulders flat on the ground. Or you can keep your right hand on the right hip. At any point, you can use your left hand to apply that slight pressure to your right knee, keeping your gaze out over your right side, your right fingertips if your arms are in a T. Feel the difference from the last supine twist, having gotten into this pose from an entirely different sequence of directives. Also, notice the similarities along with the differences. Slowly undo your twist, resting your forehead on your hands stacked on one another again. And then bend your knees and slide your feet and calves back and forth in a windshield wiper movement. And then we will come back into Sphinx up on the forearms and elbows and hands, hiking up the left knee to the left side with the left arm out straight in front of you, and then threading the right arm through the needle. You can place your left hand on your left hip, same as the other side. Adjust yourself however you need. You can get your left hand on your left hip. You can adjust so that both shoulders and arms are flat on the ground in a T. You have the option to apply that light pressure with the right hand on the left knee if you wish. With your gaze out to the left, if your arms are in a T, you're looking over your left fingertips. Again, noticing the similarities and the differences from the last supine twist. Also, maybe noticing the similarities and the differences from the right side to the left side. And coming out of that pose, again, rest your forehead on your hands lightly stacked on top of one another. And in an exaggerated motion, really windshield wiper those feet and knees, loosening the hips out. Then lower those feet to the ground and send your hips back towards the feet for a wide knee child's pose. You can use a bolster or pillow to rest your torso on if you like. We're going to hold this position, really relaxing the torso, just ragdolling the upper portion of your body. Allow gravity to do the work for you. If you have supports, really allow your weight to fall into those pillows or bolsters or blocks. Allow the supports to do their job and support your body. Trusting gravity to help you, to heal you. And then when you're done, remove the props. We're going to come to lie on the belly again through a tabletop movement. And then back into the Sphinx on the forearms again. This time really spreading your hands and your fingers out as wide as you can. Holding that Sphinx. Now turn your right forearm to be parallel with the top of the mat. Carefully reach your left hand back for your left foot, holding that half bow for several breaths. If you can't reach your foot, you could use a strap, or you can just do however feels natural and comfortable for you. And knowing that your flexibility will improve dramatically each time you do the routine if you're struggling with any part of it. It's amazing how quickly our flexibility comes back. Then when you let go, rest your head on your hands again, one hand on top of the other, windshield wipering the feet and really moving the hips too. Then lowering your feet back to the mat, and the same thing on the other side, coming up into Sphinx, spreading your hands and fingers out as wide as you can. Hold that Sphinx. And then you're going to turn your left forearm to be parallel with the top of your mat. Carefully reaching with your right hand to foot, and we'll keep that half bow for several breaths. As you let go, get both feet to the mat, and again send your hips back to your feet, sitting on your feet in child's pose. You can rest your head on a block for several breaths. We'll be here for a moment. Relaxing into child's pose. Feeling that release across the small of your back. Now we're going to slowly reach for the right edge of the mat. You can walk your fingers or slide your hands, reaching for the right corner of the mat. Feel that stretch across your left ribs. And sliding your hands or walking your fingers back to neutral. And then reaching for the left edge of the mat and stretching out towards the left corner. Feeling that stretch across your right rib cage. And then coming back to neutral. Just appreciating the simplicity of this pose and how relaxing it is, how rejuvenating it is. From child's pose, we're going to slowly come up into hero's pose, pausing there momentarily. If you need a block under your bum for hero's pose, you're welcome to do that. And then we're going to get our legs out in front for staff pose. We're going to do a supported ragdoll, leaning our torso over the tops of our legs. We're going to possibly build by stacking a bolster and some pillows on top of the legs. Alternatively, you can just use a strap on the balls of your feet if you like for the same effect here. going to stay in this for several breaths. Envision tilting your hips slightly towards your feet, towards your toes. Again, trust gravity and allow gravity to do the work for you, allowing your props to completely support you, or just allowing gravity to support you. Just relax into the stretch. Then we'll remove the props or set the strap aside. Keep your left leg stretched out long and bring the sole of your right foot to the inseam of your left thigh, reaching for those left toes. You might be holding the toes with your left hand, maybe stretching your right hand over the toes. And then as you come up to neutral, we'll do a wide leg straddle stretch, leaning forward. And then switching it out to the other side, the sole of your left foot to your inner right thigh and reaching for the right toes. And then we'll come back into that wide leg straddle, stretching both legs out to each side, leaning forward, maybe reaching for your block in front of you, maybe resting your forehead on two blocks stacked. We'll hold this position for several breaths. And then we will come into seated butterfly, holding both of your feet with your hands, soles together, bending your neck and your heads towards your feet. And bring your head up to neutral. Slowly twist the head and the neck to look out over the right shoulder. Slowly back to neutral. And carefully, neck and head turning to look over the left shoulder. and then back to neutral. Stretching the neck down, rolling lightly from side to side. If you feel compelled, you can roll your neck all the way around in a full circle, one direction and then the other, only if it feels safe for you. And then back to neutral. And shift into easy pose with your legs. Then drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. You have the option here to use a light pressure with your right fingertips on your head. Really feeling the loveliness of that stretch on your neck. You might want to move your head forward and back just so slightly, just to really massage those muscles. And then bringing your head back to neutral, and then your left ear towards your left shoulder. If you want to add that slight pressure with your left fingertips, and a little bit of movement back and forth. And then back to neutral again. And now we're going to bring ourselves into that wide straddle once again, leaning forward, maybe using the blocks in front of you to reach for or to stack the blocks on again and rest your forehead on them. You can pick up your blocks in each of your hands, reaching over the left foot. You can place those blocks on either side of the foot, resting your hands on each of the blocks, or just reaching for your toes. Then we can pick up the blocks and place them on either side of the right foot. Again, reaching for your right toes or resting your hands on each of the blocks. As we're coming out of this shape, our next pose will be bending our right knee over the left leg, which is out straight, twisting to the right, gazing to the back of the room, using your left elbow to leverage on the right knee. Keeping your gaze towards the back of the room. Really feel that twist. Continuing to leverage your left elbow on that right knee. And then slowly we will turn our head and neck to look towards the front of the room. Slowly returning the head and neck to be looking over the shoulder towards the back of the room, all while continuing to leverage that left elbow on the knee. And then we will simply switch sides, bending the left knee over the right leg, which is out straight, gazing towards the left, to the back of the room. Using that right arm as leverage on the left knee. Left hand is behind you. Feel that stretch. And really use that elbow to leverage against the knee. Slowly turn your head and neck so that you're looking at the front of the room. And then carefully returning your head and neck to be looking out towards the back of the room again. Continuing leveraging that right elbow on your left knee. And then we will get back into butterfly, holding the soles of both feet together, pressing the knees towards the floor, bending forward, stretching your neck, your forehead towards your feet. And then come up, keeping your posture as if a string were being pulled from above the top of your head. Slowly turn your head and neck to look over your right shoulder. And then back to neutral. Turning to look over the left shoulder. And then back to neutral. And now we'll get into the Lord of the Fish pose, bending the right knee over the left knee that is also bent, twisting to the right. Right arm is back behind you. Your left elbow leverages against your right knee, looking towards the back of the room. Slowly we'll rotate the head and neck to look out towards the opposite side. And slowly back again. And back to neutral, straightening both legs out in front for staff pose, reaching both arms out wide and into a half moon arch up to the sky. Steeple grip your fingers, reaching up tall, and then bending forward towards your toes. And then back to neutral, switching legs for the other side, the left knee over the right bent knee, and twisting to the left, right arm leveraging against the left knee, left arm out behind you, looking to the back of the room. Really feel that stretch in your core and really use the leverage on your right elbow onto your left knee. Slowly turn your gaze, your head and your neck to look towards the other side, towards the other shoulder. And then slowly and carefully returning your gaze to the back of the room once again. And head back to neutral. Again into staff pose, arms out wide, legs out front. Make a half moon arch, touching fingertips overhead, and then reaching for your toes. As you come up, transition into easy pose. Reaching your arms out to the sides and up to the half moon arch, touching both hands together to prepare for eagle arms. We'll get the arms into cactus or goalpost, and then with the right elbow over your left elbow, hands together, pushing elbows slightly up and bending head and neck down. Feel that release across your shoulder blades. Slowly and carefully look as high up as possible, leaning your head slightly back while still in eagle arms and your arms pushing towards the ceiling. And then back to neutral. Spread your arms back out wide. Might want to give it a shaky shake. Back to cactus or goalposts, and again eagle arms with the left elbow over the right elbow this time. Hands together, pushing the elbows slightly up and bending the neck down. Holding this posture and really enjoying that stretch across the shoulders. Pushing the elbows slightly up, and then slowly and carefully we'll be leaning the head back, looking towards the ceiling having the arms move with your head as you're leaning slightly back. And then back to neutral, and we'll stretch the arms out wide to the sides again, bringing them overhead in another half moon arch to steeple grip, sitting tall, slight arch in the back, stretching towards the right side about the 2 o'clock position. And then moving your torso, leaning forward over towards the left about the 10 o'clock position. Hands are still in steeple grip. And then gliding your torso back to that 2 o'clock position. And then straight up again. And that steeple grip. And then just bending forward towards the floor. Before coming into neutral, laying down on your back, planting both feet on the floor, knees bent. You'll probably want to hold a block or a pillow in between your knees, and maybe another block or bolster next to you so that you can allow your knees to just fall to the right. With your arms in a T, keeping your gaze out over your left fingertips. Slowly rotate your head to look the other direction to your right. Slowly rotate your head back again, looking out over your left. And then back to neutral. Bring your knees up to neutral. And then allow both knees to fall to the left, gazing out over your right fingertips with your arms in that T. Slowly turning your head and neck to have your gaze over the opposite side. And then slowly back again. Back to neutral, knees to neutral. Remove the props, both feet flat on the mat again. Put your right knee over your left knee, allowing your legs to fall to your right. With your arms in a T, gazing over your left fingertips. Slowly turning your head and neck to the right. And then to neutral. Both feet on the mat, hugging the knees to chest, rocking and rolling. And then planting both feet onto the mat again for the other side. Left knee over the right knee, falling the legs to the left side. Arms in a T, and your gaze is over your right fingertips. Rotate the head slowly to the left. And back to neutral. Hugging both knees again. One more time, rocking and rolling. If it's in your practice, this is an opportunity to do Happy Baby. Any variations of Happy Baby. Rocking the baby, maybe alternating, straightening and slightly bending each knee. And then as you come out of that form, lay flat and reach for a block for supported bridge. We'll plant the feet firmly on the mat, lifting your hips and sliding that block under the small of your back on its lowest level, lowering the hips back onto the block, and we will remain in the supported bridge. And then while still on the block, we'll do the legs up the wall again with or without the strap. we'll place the strap out to the side, remove the block, and if it's in your practice, there's an option here for a shoulder stand. If you're not comfortable with shoulder stand, you can use this time to do any position that you like. You can get into Savasana early if you would like. That's where we're headed after the next couple of minutes of shoulder stand and then plow, if it's in your practice. If not, feel free, yogi's choice, any stretch you like, or corpse pose. If you're in plow, as you're coming out of plow, try to be as slow and controlled as you can, rolling one vertebrae at a time until you get your feet to the floor. And then relax into Savasana. As you bring your awareness back to your body, back to the room, coming out of Savasana, you can either very slowly and taking your time roll to one side or the other before slowly pushing yourself up. Or if it's comfortable for you, there's an option to rock slightly with your chin tucked, coming up onto your elbows and into staff pose. Either way, we'll meet in staff pose. Reaching the arms out to both sides, arching them up to half moon overhead, hands in steeple grip, arching the back ever so slightly while looking towards the ceiling. And then leaning forward, reaching for the toes, sitting back upright, transitioning into easy pose, and get your left hand on your right knee, right hand on the floor behind you for a very, very light twist to the right, And then cross your right hand onto your left knee over your left arm. And then reach your left hand behind you for another super light twist. And then you can cross your left arm over your right arm and get your left hand on your right knee, coming out of this shape and then reaching arms out to the sides in a half moon shape, hands to the sky and touching your palms to each other, fingertips and thumbs. And then placing your hands on each of your knees, touching the pointer finger to the thumb on each side, and we're going to chant Om 3 times in a low pitch. Om. And then stretching the arms out wide to one last half moon arch. Bring the hands overhead to prayer hands. And then, in acknowledgement of your insight and wisdom, touch your thumbs or knuckles to your third eye on your way to hands to heart. And bow to close and seal the practice. And so it is. Thank you for practicing with me today. Your body thanks you for taking the time to practice. And have a very blessed rest of your day.